And we are back. More Ressa Tessa, her revelation child of her disastrous marriage, part two. And guess what? Her husband responded, girl, boy, you can make this up. Do y'all hear me? Let's get into it, shall we? Oh, yes, we shall.
Everybody needs a sweet old auntie. Everybody needs
with a whoop whoop and a boop boop
auntie
boop.
that everybody needs.
You can make this up.
Now you know that these are some crazy motherfuckers.
Everybody needs a sweet old auntie.
So why even fuckers?
Auntie that lies, sweet old auntie. Auntie that waits. Are you okay? Are you okay?
Well, welcome back, everybody. And this is Auntie. And if this is your first time being here, please like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. And to all of my new subscribers, thank you all so much for hitting that subscribe button and joining this family. To all of my nieces, nephews, and my members who have been here with me for the long haul, thank you all so much for your continued support. I want to thank my nieces and my nephews for hitting me up in the DMs and giving me this information. I truly appreciate it. Y'all got y'all aunties back in more ways than one. Child, when we left off at part 18 of Ressa Tessa's, honey, self-made documentary, child, on her whole life with Mr. Legion. Well, as luck would have it, Mr. Legion has come out, honey, and he has spoken, and we will find out what he had to say at the end of her dissertation or her documentary. Child, we have learned so much about her that, she's been in this relationship with this man. She married him in episode 15. And for some reason, we was not able to get episode 15 up. I just want to say thank you to all the 3,000 people. I thought, when you see it on the screen, right, child, it was 3,000 of y'all who were in here, and I really do appreciate it, okay? Sometimes, you're looking at something and, that happens, that is trending or breaking news, right? But it ain't nothing like listening to it, having comments, getting your say down in the comment section, reading her or him fulfilled, getting other people's opinions and perspectives, and coming to see your auntie while you doing it. I appreciate everybody who is in the comment section. And just doing what you do. As long as you are respectful in the comment section, we're fine. But what we don't like over here is the S word. We don't like all caps. If you're using that, you're going to be, your comment is going to be removed. And if you continue to do it right, you're going to be blocked off of, and we don't want to block anybody because we've been having a great time. So we're going to go in and we're going to continue listening to Ressa from part 18, and we're going to jump right in the middle of what it is that we had already saw. Are y'all ready? Are y'all ready? Let's listen to the fool la la. So right now she's talking about a car and about a house, and she had already explained to us about, why she felt like, she was stupid and she was getting these gut instincts and stuff like that. And she was ignoring it for some reason. Now, I think that, she kind of outlined what it was. One of the things that I do like about Ressa or Tessa or whatever her real name is that she has been somewhat accountable for the things that she has done. Now, let this be a cautionary tale to any of you all who are currently dating, when you get these signs and stuff like that, you gotta make sure that you follow with it, right? We talked last episode, the last video that I did about the gut instinct, that the gut does not lie to you, even when the heart is, even when the mind is. Your gut will not lie to you. That is where your intuition and all of that stuff lies at. It lies in your gut. And so there was, a lot of people call it red flags and stuff like that. This is intuition. This is the body giving you a symbol that ain't right. Okay, so I'm gonna bring her up on the screen, and we're gonna continue from 18. Y'all ready? Let's do it.
A police car. It was on a marked unit, basically. And so I'm just like, who the heck could this be? And he was like, I know who it was. And I said, who? He was like, I think it was your ex. I said, what?
So this is Tessa, for all of you all who weren't with us the first time. This is Tessa in part 18, indicating that Legion, okay, has told her that someone came to the door looking for her. They was knocking on the door, and she was wondering whether or not it was a bill collector that had the audacity, the mitigated gall to come to her house. And so she's trying to figure out at this point who knocked on the door, and he's saying, I think I know who it is. Now, prior to this, she said that he has started becoming very suspicious about, her involvement, her conversations and stuff like that, other men on the job or wherever, right? Because she works currently for, at this point, she works for the state troopers. And so prior, in their relationship, earlier on in their relationship, they were having all of these issues, but now all of a sudden they're starting to have this issue. So of course, somebody has come to the house, and this is where we are. Okay, just wanted to give y'all some backstory.
What ex? He was like, the one that you had dated for 2 years. Remember back in like part 3, part 4, I told y'all he told me about his ex. I told him about mine. I thought we were being honest with each other. So now, fast forward to February 2021, and he's telling me, yeah, I think it was the ex that you had been dealing with for those 2 years before you met me. I said, so you think that he showed up to the house uninvited after 2 years? And he was like, well, whoever it was clearly was comfortable backing into our driveway, getting out the car, and was like, I'm here to see, and gave him my name.
That don't even sound right.
And so he was like, she's not
don't
here.
sound
Is there
right.
something I
Stop,
can help you with? And the guy was like, no, it's cool.
Stop
And
using
they just got
N-word.
in the car and drove off. So again, brain is like, who could this be?
Mhm.
So then Legion says to me, you know what? The way that you reacting to this is real suspect. And I'm like, what are you talking about? He was like, you over here freaking out. I told you I took care of it. I told you it was fine. And you over here freaking out, which makes me wonder, what have you been up to?
Oh, so he's
Now,
cheating?
let's go
He's
to
cheating.
part 19. Okay, part 18. Okay, part 18. Who the fuck did I marry?
Part
So
19.
he says to me, the way you're acting is real suspect, because I told you it was fine. I took care of it. He was like, I ain't even worried about it. He was like, obviously, that nigga didn't know that you now married, that you've moved on. And so now he knows it. But for me, it was the fact that I don't do pop-ups. Don't come to my house unannounced. So if someone has done that, for me, it automatically feels like a violation, and it feels like it needs to be addressed. So it was not as simple as, I already took care of it, it's fine, let it go. No, we ain't letting nothing go, because you don't have my permission to show up to my house. And before this turns into something where I'm going to be on Fox 5 News, I need to address that with you, because that is not okay. So he didn't like the reaction I had to the story he told me, where someone basically disrespected my home. And he felt like my reaction was really sad.
But she knew it was a lie.
So, what I'm gonna get into the little details that he did not know about. So he tells me again, it was a black Charger, a black Dodge Charger. They backed into the driveway. A gentleman got out of the car and he asked for me by name, and Legion said she's not here. So I asked him, what does the guy look like? And he said, he was like, why does it matter? I said, what the fuck does he look like? So Legion proceeds to give me the most generic description
of course
you can give. He was like, well, he was shorter than me. Ex-husband is about 6'3", 6'4".
So everybody's shorter than him.
He was shorter than me. He was brown skinned. I said, did he have a hat on his head? Mind you, I understand that before marriage, I was a damn fool. I understand that. But every woman has that moment where you only gonna fool her but for so long.
Girl, when is your moment coming?
Puzzles start coming together.
When is that moment coming?
For me, I felt like moving into marriage, certain things started coming together. So I said to him, did he have a hat on his head? He was like, nah, he ain't wear a hat. So in my mind, I am mentally going down a list of every possible man it could be. And it was only like 4 men. I had been in that house about 3 or 4 years at this point. So I knew all of the people, and I'm talking about from maintenance down to ex-boyfriends. It was a total of like 4 men.
Okay.
So when he said that it was a black Charger, I immediately was like, okay, I know that crosses out one. He said he was shorter than him. All of them were shorter than him. I said, did he have a hat on his head? He said, no, that crossed out one, because one in particular was a maintenance guy who always wore a hat on his head because he had like a bruise or something, and he was just self-conscious about it. So he always wore a hat. That leaves 2. So I said, was he muscular or was he skinny?
I wouldn't even ask him all that. He lied.
He was like, well, he was kind of in between. And I said, okay. He was in between. I said, so was he light skin or was he dark skin? He was like, I told you he was brown skin. I said, was he my complexion?
See, so you be giving out too much information.
He was brown skin. That eliminates one. So now there's one left. And yes, the one left would have been the ex that I had dated for 2 years. And so he was like, I know it was your ex. And I was like, that don't make no sense, because the ex that in my mind, I'm saying this, the ex that I had dated, he and I had no contact with each other. And he was not the type to just pop up at your house. That ain't his style. Not to mention, and I ain't tell Legion this, that man would not be caught dead driving a Dodge Charger. He hated Chargers because he drove it as a patrol car.
So then you know he lied.
So I didn't say anything. I just was like, that's weird. So what Legion didn't know is that at the time I had a security system. So I had a security system where anytime the front door, the garage door, or the back door was open, basically any entry point, anytime it was open or closed, it would send me a text message notification. So when he's telling me all this, I'm looking at my phone and I see a notification where the front door was opened and it was shut, all within the same minute. So for example, if it says front door open at 1 p.m., front door closed at 1
Girl,
p.m.
hurry
so
up. We know how.
was within those 60 seconds. He's telling me the story of, and he was like, all right, thank you, and got in the car and drove off. Legion has also told me that he watched him drive out of the neighborhood, which means because of the way the house was set up, the townhouse, he would have still been outside.
Okay.
My driveway as well as her driveway. And so whoever was coming in the door, our driveways were right next to each other.
Okay.
And then on the other side of it was the grass. So it was a perfect view of my driveway.
Okay.
So she I had texted her and I said, "Hey, were you home?" I think I texted her the next day because I said, "Were you home on Saturday?" Da, 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 da. And she said, "No, I wasn't. What's up? Everything good?" And I said, "Can you look at your security system and see if there was a car that came to my house
Oh, shiznit.
at such and such time?" And I know
Not the
I did
neighbor's
not tell her
camera.
the reason I was asking, but I was like, "Is there any way that your security camera caught if someone came to my house
Okay.
at this time on
So what the
Saturday?"
neighbor say?
She's like, "Yeah, sure, I'll look." And
Okay.
so maybe about a couple of hours later, she texted me back and said, "Hey, I looked at the camera, but I didn't see anything." And I said, "Okay, by any chance, did it catch if someone maybe walked up the driveway? Like maybe it wasn't a car in the driveway, but someone walked up." She said, "I didn't see anything with your driveway yesterday." So I said, "Okay." And I knew
Give me
that
a
something in
copyright
me
strike.
again was like, nobody came to the house.
But thank you, boo.
So now here we are, a month and a half married. And now is when I'm like, why the fuck did he make that up? Because no one came to the house.
Okay.
No black Charger came to the house, pulled back into the driveway. Nobody got out the car and asked for me.
Okay.
Nobody was looking for me.
Okay.
So now I was sitting in the bedroom thinking through all this, and I'm like, why the fuck did he make that up? Because that's what happened. I'm looking at the text messages on my phone where
He
he's telling
wanted
me
an
someone
out.
just came to the house looking for you,
He wanted
but
out.
no one came. So what was the purpose of that?
He
And
wanted
then
out.
something said to me, something in me said, he wanted to see your reaction. He
No,
just wanted to see the reaction.
that wasn't it. He
You
wanted.
had been too
He
calm,
building the
and so
out.
he wanted to see a
He's
reaction.
building
So
the
this
out that
man
you cheating.
gaslit me.
He's building an out that you are cheating. He's building an out. He don't give a whole rat's ass about your reaction. He's building an out for himself. Girl. But he don't care nothing about your reaction. Girl, stop. He don't care. He expected a reaction.
Like I was Georgia Natural Gas just to get a reaction. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to part 20 of All right, part 20 of Who the Fuck Did I Marry? So after the black Dodge Charger incident, things were quiet. Legion was fine. Legion slept just fine. Me, that shit played over in my head for days and days and days. On one,
Why isn't she confronting him? She's, oh my God. Women, don't be a coward in your relationship. Don't be a coward in your relationship. Say what it is that you got to say so stuff don't live rent-free in your head and in your heart and in your gut. Say what it is that you have to say to him. Confront the issue head on.
one hand, I was like, I know nobody came.
Okay.
My head knew nobody came to the house. My heart.
But your head didn't know that he wasn't buying all these houses. Your head didn't know that he was a whole fraud and a half. So when did your head start working?
Was like,
I can't.
But maybe he didn't make it up. So the head and the heart were absolutely playing a tug of war.
See how she make excuses? Do not make excuses for facts. Facts are facts. The girl told. See, this is how you get. See, she got somebody else involved, right? She got the next door neighbor involved. But then you don't believe the information that you've been told. So then why ask? Now you're talking about my head and my heart. You just lonely, and you in a position where you desperate for him, and you want this to work because you don't want to experience the embarrassment. But sometimes, fuck it, and experience the embarrassment. We all have had a man in well, not everybody, but some people have had a man in their lives that has made a fool out of them. God damn.
Because again, I really couldn't fathom that he was making it up. But nevertheless, I filed it in the back of my mind in my little filing cabinet, my mental filing cabinet. So a few weeks later, we go out to eat at this restaurant in Atlanta. It's a burger place, and I'm going to do my best by the time I post this.
Girl, just keep going.
Of the burger place.
We don't need the burger place.
So we go to the burger place, eat dinner. Everything was fine. As we are leaving, he says to me, did I ever show you where my grandmother is buried? This is the grandmother that passed away from COVID in 2020.
All right.
And I said, no. I was like, we haven't been over here. Okay. And so he was like, let me show you. So he drives us to the cemetery, which is not far from the restaurant. He drives us to the cemetery, goes around and around, and then it comes to like a little hill in the cemetery. And he was like, you see the headstone. The headstone had like the family name on it. And it did not have, for example, John David Doe. It just had Doe. Okay. So there were no dates on it. So it reminded me of just a headstone where it was probably multiple family members buried underneath it. That's what it reminded me.
Lying about a headstone in the
he was like, my grandfather and my grandmother are buried there. I do recall him telling me when the grandmother died in 2020 that she wanted to be buried next to his grandfather. And so we're sitting in the car because we can see the headstone like on top of the hill from the car. And he tells me that is where his grandmother and grandfather are buried, that the family was able to get her, her wishes were to be buried next to the grandfather. Okay. So as we are leaving, we take a different route home. So we get on the highway. If you're from Atlanta, you'll know what I'm talking about. We get on I-75 North. And we're kind of we're just driving around, to be honest with you. But we're taking the scenic route. We get on I-75 North because the reason why I remember is because when you're on I-75 North going towards Atlantic Station, on the right-hand side, you will see CR on the building. That building, that's where we're going to have, we're setting up operations. And I was like, why the hell would y'all buy a condiment company in downtown Atlanta? He was like, no, we're not doing production there. It's just going to be offices. And that's where we're going to handle like the business portion. The production is still being done in Gwinnett County out in Duluth. And so I was like, oh, okay. He was like, that's where I keep the company car. So I was like, the company car? I said, aren't you supposed to be bringing the company car home? And he was like, I don't want to bring the company car home.
When have you seen the company car at home?
Because it's Clayton County and it's a $90,000 car. And I don't want no problems. So he's telling me that he keeps the company car at the building downtown Atlanta that's behind the NCR building.
Okay.
I barely could see what building he's talking about, but he was like, it's the building right behind it. And so he's telling me that that's where his office is. So I said to him, take me to your office. I know it's a Saturday, but shit, you one of the VPs, right? So take me to your office. No, I had not been to his office simply because, again, COVID. So I was like, take me to your office. And he was like, I can. He was like, that's no problem. So do I have the other phone? I do. So y'all are in luck. So I can maybe reenact how this goes. So he gets off the exit and starts driving towards the NCR building. Okay. While he's driving towards the NCR building, he always has kept his phone in his left pocket. Okay. This is my left hand. Okay. So he pulls his phone out. Okay. And he starts calling. He tells me he's calling Willie. Willie is supposed to be the head of security.
Okay.
So he's saying, let me call Willie real quick to make sure that the building's open.
All right, let's call Willie.
So he proceeds. This is another phone, but he proceeds to go ahead and call Willie. We're still driving, by the way. We're still driving. I'm on the phone, scrolling through Facebook, trying to figure out some random shit. But he's driving with the phone up to it. So driving with the phone, next thing I hear, hey, Willie, it's Legion. Hey, how's it going? I'm building open. No, I just want to take my wife up there so she can see it and see my office. Are you up there right now? You're not? Okay. Is Mr. Justin working? Okay. So is there anybody up there that can physically open the building? Because I don't think my badge is going to get me at least in the front door because of it's on the weekend lock.
You better work it.
Okay. Okay. All right. Let me know. All right. Thank you, Willie. Bye.
Girl.
Y'all see how I did that? He's having this whole conversation while I'm sitting in the passenger seat. So then he gets off the phone and he says to me, Willie is not working and Justin apparently called out sick. So the building is locked and my badge won't get us in the front door. He was like, Willie's going to see if there's someone else that can open the front door so we can actually get in. He's like, my badge will get us on the floor, but it will not get us in the front door.
Then what's the need of having the badge?
No one ever called. So when he's getting off the highway, he basically turns onto Spring Street. Again, there's all kinds of shit I distinctly remember. He turns onto Spring Street so that he can then get on 75 South so we can go home.
All right.
Never saw the office that day. But again, this is where he's saying that he keeps
do a pop-up
the company car. So when we get to part 21, I'll kind of go into detail.
Okay.
Part 21, who the fuck did I marry? So the company car apparently was a charcoal gray BMW. I believe it was a 5 Series. It was a 5 Series. I don't know much about the sedans. Y'all know I wanted the X5, dark blue with the cognac interior.
Keep going.
He got the BMW 5 Series, charcoal gray. He sent me a picture of the car. So I did see a picture of the car. After this whole NCR building, take me to your office, that is what he's claiming, is that he leaves the company car at that location. He's saying that he drives from Riverdale to Midtown, switches out cars, and then drives from Midtown to Duluth. Those that don't know how Metro Atlanta is, basically Midtown would be in between where we live. Because I felt like you get to drive the car that I really want, which is a BMW. And so he would call me from the car. He would tell me, yeah, I'm go ahead and go home.
Y'all,
and just let me park it in a garage type thing. So eventually he stopped doing that because I didn't want to hear nothing about that car. I'm driving a Nissan and you driving a BMW.
That's
after
on
you
you.
promised me a BMW.
Girl, that's on you. That's your problem. You've been wanting all of these damn things. Get it for yourself. Don't nobody owe you no fucking car. Now you hating on his line ass? The fuck?
Nothing about it. So in terms of the company car,
girl,
I did see that it was a, according to the pictures, a charcoal gray BMW 5 Series.
Okay.
If you're asking me the exact model, I don't know.
Okay.
But I know it was a 5 Series because I know the 7 Series is slightly longer.
On this video.
So it's a 5 Series sedan. So after the whole situation with the cemetery to see his grandmother and grandfather's headstone,
you ain't check them.
Then there was the NCR, the office is open. Oh, it's not open. Justin ain't working. Willie ain't working. Willie is supposed to be head of security, but he ain't working. Okay. So
But
at this point, I'm already numb. It is important for me to point out how numb I became dealing with him.
About time.
Mind numbing.
It's about goddamn time.
I just got to a point where it was like, there's always something. There's always something. So of course we're not going to go to the office because there's going to be something. So this is the end of February. My birthday had already passed. There clearly was tension on my end, not so much tension on his end. So I get home a couple of weeks later. We are now in the beginning of March. This is something personal about me. The only way you would know this is
we're in another year.
I have been dying to go to London and Paris.
Okay.
I had a layover in London when I did a study abroad, but it's not the same. I want to go to London and be a whole tourist. I don't care. I want to see Buckingham Palace. I want to see the Tower of London. I want to see Paris.
God, okay. We get it. God damn.
This is something, if you know me, you know she wants to see Paris. She like, nah, it's a surprise for you. I open up the folder. Inside the folder is like a trip itinerary. It is not an actual booked trip. It's like an itinerary.
Okay.
A trip for two to go from Atlanta to London.
Okay.
The trip should have happened, and it was the month on there was like July. Okay. So it was a summer trip.
That's right around when you had.
He tells me, I'm gonna take you to London. Okay. He was like, I wanted to take you for your birthday, but certain things fell through. He was like, so this summer in July, we're going to go to London.
Okay.
He was like, I've already made a reservation for us to stay at the Savoy. Again, there's certain things that my brain just was like, remember that. He said, I've already made a reservation for us to stay at the Savoy.
Okay.
I know, as much as I want to go to London, y'all, I didn't know anything about the Savoy. And so I remember going to look it up because I was like, what is the Savoy? Well, apparently the Savoy is bougie, very bougie. So
okay.
I was so excited. I cannot tell y'all how fucking excited I was when I saw that he had.
Why does she trust him? Y'all gonna have to help me understand why she trusts and believes anything he says. I don't fucking get it. He couldn't even tell me that it was Q-tips left in the bathroom, bitch. There's nothing he could say to me that I would believe. Nothing. I would have been out. She's excited about an itinerary.
Printed out British Airways, like he was speaking my language. I am one of those people. I'm a planner. So when
you ain't playing girl, you ain't playing a damn thing that's happened to you since March 7th of 2020. When you went out on your first date and your tie blew out, you ain't playing. Are you fucking kidding me?
Saying I'm gonna take you to London, and he took the time to research flights and print it out and research the Savoy and print it out. And there were different not excursions, but there were different things that you could do. You could go see the Tower of London, you could go see Buckingham Palace, changing of the guard. We could go have high tea at certain places. He was like, I don't really want to go, but I know you're dying to go. So he was like, you know I love you and I would do anything for you. Blah blah black sheep, have you any wool? And so he was like, I'm going to take you to
now
London.
You got the attitude,
in July.
But you ain't had an attitude
the
when you was in a fucking relationship.
That's fine, but I was so excited.
I can't with her.
So excited. And so this is the beginning of March. I was like, this.
So she's going to tell us that he didn't.
Hopefully this happens. I knew I needed to renew my passport. And he was saying that he had to renew his passport as well because his passport had expired. So both of us were like, okay, we need to on this if we're going to try to make it to London in July, and it's now March.
A word.
Me being the planner I am, I think I went to work the next day and printed out the passport applications so that we could fill it out and go ahead and get that process
Get
going.
it online. But okay.
So, needless to say, something must have happened, and I don't remember what it was. We just simply didn't fill out the application for the passport. So, fast forward, we're now at mid-March. Mid-March, the decision was made that my mom, who lived in Arkansas, was coming to visit us. She would be coming, I believe, the second week of April, and she was going to stay a week, and then a few days. So, like, maybe a total of 9 days.
Okay.
Not quite 2 weeks, but a little over a week.
Okay.
So she was coming in April, and I was excited. Legion was excited because he was excited to physically meet my mom. He had talked to her on Zoom. He had talked to her on the phone, but he was excited to physically meet my mom.
Okay.
And my mom was excited to physically meet her son-in-law. So this is mid-March. I'm going to go into part 22 where I explain what happened with Facebook Messenger. Part 21, who the fuck did I marry? So the company. Part 22, who the fuck did I marry? So now we are in March. This is right after he had surprised me with the announcement of we're going to go to London for a trip in July, because we definitely didn't do a honeymoon. We definitely didn't do any sort of trips together. So the idea was we're going to do a trip in July together. One thing about Legion was that he was the guy who was like, I have nothing to hide. I don't lie. I don't like liars. If we're in a relationship, then everything should be out in the open. Okay. So I've always had his cell phone passcode. Okay. Never felt the need to look through his cell phone. And funny enough, I can tell y'all right now, disclaimer, I will never go through a cell phone again. Wow. You cheating piece. So anyway.
Oh, I knew
so one day.
What did I say? That's why it was a stranger danger at the door, because he was cheating. He wanted an out. He was cheating. He didn't give a damn about your reaction. Like I said, he was cheating. He was cheating.
Hey, this is mid.
He probably been wanting to leave her, y'all. For real, for real. For real, for real. He probably been wanting to leave her ass. He probably been wanting to been done with this relationship. Dime to a donut, I bet you. He been done with her ass. He stayed there because he had a roof over his head. She probably was up in there cooking and serving it on the platter in the bedroom. He probably been wanting to leave her. He probably been wanting to be done with her ass. She's talking about, I think he just wanted my reaction. Grow up. That's just skimming the surface. Get deep. That's why we sit out here looking at this. Oh my God.
March, going like around March.
How old is this girl? Somebody tell me downtown in the comment section how old her ass is.
He was in the shower. Keep in mind, my mom is coming for a visit in April. So he was in the shower. Okay. And he received a text message on his phone from a woman. The text message, because it was a preview. So the text message was something where if you didn't know the context of the text thread, you could either go left or you could go right with it. So me being just curious, I opened up the phone, put the passcode in, read the text, then read the thread. Come to find out, it was a text from his aunt. His aunt and his ex share the same name. That's why I say it could go left or it could go right. Text was from the aunt. So I looked at the text, went through the thread, nothing in there. So I went ahead, X'd out of the messages. I see that he has Facebook Messenger downloaded. And obviously it shows you the number of unread messages in the icon. So it showed that he had like 5 unread messages. So I clicked on it, just being nosy. And what do my wondering astigmatism eyes see?
You shall find.
So in his Facebook Messenger is about 7 women. I can see their profile picture and I see their names. Some of them had a preview. The ones that he had not read, I could see the preview of the message. One in particular said, "When are you gonna come get this?" Y'all know what I'm talking about. So I clicked on that one first.
Okay.
And I'm reading through the thread.
Okay.
And so she's saying, "When are you gonna come get this?" But earlier in the thread, or further back in the thread, he had asked her, "When are you gonna give me?"
Okay.
And she said, "When lockdown is over." So from what I could piece together, he had not yet physically gotten with her.
Okay.
But had there been no COVID, he would have smashed.
She said bands to make her day.
The other messages were innuendos, meaning the other messages from the other women were innuendos. They were not as graphic as the one between him and her.
Okay.
So I'm reading these messages, and what is interesting is that the person I am married to is not the person in these messages. Like, this man was on some nasty shit.
But I bet you weren't doing it with you.
And I say nasty, not in a judgmental way, but in a, with me, he seemed to act as if I was damn near virginal white. And I clearly see evidence that you into some shit that with me, you acting like, nah, I ain't really into that.
Oh my God.
I confronted him. I absolutely confronted him and was like, "What the fuck is this? If 2 + 2 is 4 and 5 + 5 is 10, what the fuck is this?" And so he did not, that ain't what happened, blah, blah, blah. Instead, what he hit me with is, "Man, I was just playing around. Like, ain't nothing happened.
Don't play around like you, with you like that. That's fucked.
I shouldn't have said all that, but I was just flirting. It ain't mean nothing.
Not in the sheets.
I don't even know that girl. I was just flirting." And so I'm like, "Is this what you into?" And so he was like, "No, it's not what I'm into.
No, that's what he into.
It was stupid because I shouldn't have done it." So I'm gonna be honest with y'all, because I've been honest all this time.
Okay, be honest.
What pissed me off the most was that here I am as a woman behaving, trying to do the right thing by him and this marriage. And you mean to tell me you out here offering your dingaling to random chicks that you don't even know?
So while did you not want to behave?
I was more angry at the fact that I'm like, dude, do you know how much I have turned down in order to be faithful to your dumb ass? And I'm seeing
you're a wife who wants to live in a $700,000 home. You want to drive a BMW. What the fuck did I just miss? You turned it down because, oh my God. Can we say delusional? I done turned down all this peen out here in the street when I could have been doing what you doing. You could have been like, bitch, let me shut up.
That you basically are out here acting like you got Skittles taste the rainbow.
And you mad because you didn't have no Reese cups?
I was hurt. I was angry.
No Snicker?
I thought about getting my lick back.
No Butterfinger?
Just being honest, I did.
No pain.
And he played it off like it ain't nothing serious. It ain't nothing serious. Don't overreact. Don't get emotional. It was just dumb. He was like, "I will delete the messages. I'll even delete Messenger." And I told him, I was like, "That's really not good enough, because that's not gonna fix the root of the issue." So
the root of the issue is that you want to have your ass in a slingshot.
I introduced that we need to do marriage counseling.
Oh my, for what?
He didn't have any issue doing marriage
Hey,
counseling.
Tamika.
We did not do premarital counseling. But he was like, that's fine. He was like, I don't have no problem doing marriage counseling because if anything, it can help us. So I thought that, okay, he may not have physically cheated from what I could see on the messenger. He may not have physically cheated, but he damn sure got caught, you know, doing a little something, because they had exchanged pictures. So y'all know what pictures he sent. And I was disappointed because I don't like men that send I don't like men that send those type of pictures. But
well, that's why he wasn't doing that stuff with you.
So
you can't have it. That's why he wasn't doing that with you. Husband and wives do that kind of stuff all the time. They send videos, pictures, and all of that kind of stuff. So because you were squeamish and you don't like that kind of stuff, that's why he wasn't doing it with you. Don't get him an out. I'm not making an excuse. I'm just saying the obvious. God damn.
We agreed that we would start marriage counseling. We also agreed that we would put on a united front when my mom got there. In other words, we were not going to argue. We, you know, let's just act like everything is fine. But at that point, when my mother arrived in April, I could not stand him. I did not want to be, but we couldn't,
yes,
he moved back into our bedroom because he had moved into the guest bedroom when I saw the whole time. Like 3 days before she came, he moved back into the bedroom because obviously she needed to sleep somewhere. So I really could not stand him. And it was because I was busy second guessing myself, like, damn, what's wrong with me? Like, if that's what you into and I'm supposed to be your wife, like, let's have conversations. Like, shit, I went to FAMU. I understand some stuff, buddy. So it just was one of those things where it made me second guess, like, what's wrong with me? What did I do wrong? What is it that she got that I don't? Because you all out here willy-nilly, you know, messaging her all hours of the night, because the thread went back quite a few weeks.
Okay.
I saw it in March. There were messages from December, November.
Okay.
So again, I'm just second guessing all kinds of stuff, self-esteem taking a
hit. Master.
So no, I did not want to be around him. I did not want.
But you faked in front of your mother.
I didn't like him
the whole time.
Period. I did not like him. I left and I would just go for a drive because driving clears my mind. I called my aunt, told her what happened. I don't recommend that. I don't recommend calling family to tell them what's going on in your marriage. But I called my aunt, and my aunt lovingly was like, what do you want me to say? You married him. You know, he ain't your boyfriend. Y'all can't just break up.
Yeah.
That's the hard part about marriage, is like, I mean, yeah, I guess you could leave him, but at the same time, you married him. So, honey, you're going to have to go back home.
Yeah.
And y'all are going to have to figure this out. She was like, I can't give you advice on what you should do. I'm sorry that this happened, but you married him. So even though it was just one drive, I went back home, and that's when the discussion was, we need to do marriage counseling. Part 22, who the fuck did I marry? So now we are in March. This is part 23, who the fuck did I marry? So
I wonder if
she agreed to do marriage counseling. I had found a pastor and his wife who agreed to do our counseling. Basically, our counseling was going to be on Zoom, and it was going to be every other week, every other Tuesday. Initially, Legion was participating in it.
There's nothing to
his
say.
Body language seemed to be that he was open and receptive to the marriage counseling. Now, the pastor and his wife were deeply concerned at the fact that we had only been married 3 months, and we were already dealing with some form of infidelity. We were in marriage counseling, and as the pastor would put it, there seems to not be any sort of intimacy. They were concerned. Rightfully so. I think any person would be if they knew what was going on within those 3 months. So the pastor and his wife, it is fair to note, we started counseling with them in the spring. we continued counseling with them up until a week before I found out what I found out, and he got kicked out. So one of the first things that the pastor kind of talked to us about was, are you what was the deal with the Facebook Messenger stuff? And Legion was like, it was stupid. I shouldn't have done it. It really was just attention, and I got carried away. He felt like he was not going to, he kept saying, I'm not going to keep apologizing. I'm not going to keep getting persecuted. After I told you, I'm sorry, I told you I wouldn't do it again, and I want us to move forward. You're either going to forgive me or you're not. Pastor and his wife were like, wow, the audacity is real on this one. So needless to say, we started moving slowly forward. It was always in the back of my mind, just like it was in the back of my mind with that black Dodge Charger. It was one of those things where, okay, I see how you kind of are moving and operating.
Mm-hmm.
He came to me a few days after we started our first counseling session, and he was like, we should get a joint bank account. What he wanted to do was to each one of us have our own account, and to get a joint account for our money to go in there.
What?
For joint expenses. Now,
Why would I
up until this point, he had been paying the rent, the utilities, and I really was just paying for my stuff. So now he's suggesting, look, we're married now,
so
let's go ahead and get a joint account. I wasn't necessarily against it because I knew that I would still have my own account. I would still have my own savings. So what I countered was, okay, let's take a look and see what we're working with. Show me your checking. Let's look at each other's accounts. Look at what we have currently. He was cool with that. So he shows me his checking account. His checking account available balance was just over $9,600. Mine was just over $1,500. So there was a huge disparity in the amounts. And so he logged in on the phone and turned it towards me, and I could see available checking, available balance, just over $9,600. I logged into my savings. I showed him how much I had in savings. He logged picked up his phone, logged into his Chase savings, turned the phone towards me. And the Chase savings, it was roughly about $15,000. But I also knew that he told me he had a U.S. bank savings and he had an offshore savings. So at this point in time, I asked him, show me the U.S. bank savings, show me the other two accounts.
That part, my sweet perspective,
this
that part.
A huge bone of contention. He would not show me the two accounts that he claims has.
I wouldn't either. You ain't got it. You got $1,500 in your account. I wouldn't show you.
Because he still was mentioning, hey, we need to get on this house thing if we're gonna move. When the
at least he got enough to make a down payment on a house that's like $300, $400K. You ain't got enough to put it on an apartment building.
The Chase one, like, what is the big deal? And so he kept saying, he was like, there's a lot of money in there. And he was like, and my uncle always taught me, this is not the uncle that died, another uncle. My uncle always told me, just keep your money tight because women can be, I said, women, like, we're married. So go ahead and show it to me. He would not show it to me. So then we went back into marriage counseling, like the next session. And I bring it up. I said, he will not show me these two accounts that he claims has the money in there to buy a house. I told our pastor and his wife, I said, I saw the pre-approval letter, so I don't understand why he's not going to show me to just put me at ease that he has the money in there. I had never questioned it before because, again, you tell me who in their right mind signs their name to a legally binding offer, an all cash offer on a house, and they just do it willy-nilly. I don't know anyone that does that. So I actually never questioned what was in the savings because I clearly saw him sign his name to a $699,000 all cash offer on a house. If you don't know what I'm talking about, please go back to the parts and where I open up my accounts to show anybody the money I earned. I earned that money. I earned that money by playing football, blood, sweat, and tears. He went to this whole Denzel Washington monologue about how he earned that money, and no one is going to come in and tell him that he needs to open up the account. So then he starts talking about the ex-wife and how she tried to get money from him in the divorce back when they were in California. So now the pastor and his wife, their red flags are just like, whoa. So much so that the pastor's wife said, and I will never forget this, she said, I don't think you all are going to make it to January. What she was talking about is, I don't think y'all are going to make it a year. And I really, truly was like, we're going to make it. Like, of course we're going to make it. And she was just like, I don't have a good feeling about it. And so Legion's all defensive. He at this point, he's folding his arms and because remember, we're on Zoom. He's folding his arms and he's just like, I'm done with this. Like, I'm not going to get attacked because I'm not comfortable showing you the amount of money that I have.
So let me get this straight. She goes to counseling. She seeks wisdom from this couple. They tell her that they're not going to make it and she doubts it. So she never had no real intention of looking at this relationship as disastrous.
Money changes people. And I'm not comfortable. So he's playing that victim card. And so the pastor and his wife were like, we're still going to help y'all as much as we can. But so he was like, I'm not comfortable. And basically the pastor and his wife were like, look, we'll help y'all as much as we can. But there's some deep issues here. And, this is what they advised us. Had the two of you came to us for counseling, we would have told you, do not get married.
Absolutely.
Y'all should not even be together.
Absolutely.
That is what that is what the pastor and his wife told us. And
you ain't believe it, did you? You stayed
if
with
you
them.
two had come to us for premarital counseling.
And when did you believe them?
Y'all should not even be together, let alone get married.
But
here we are. So we will help you guys as much as we can. But the pastor's wife was like, I don't have a good feeling that y'all are going to make it a year. Part 24, who the fuck did I marry? So remember, we're in April. We're now moving towards the end of April. And he still did not show me his savings account. Saw the checking, saw the Chase savings. So he decides that we should start looking for a house again. Because
I can't do another house story.
And I made
if this is about a house story, I can't do it.
He did not submit the paperwork when she had asked him to. And I remember I was driving to work and I stopped at the Quick Trip on Upper Riverdale Road in Riverdale, Georgia. And Amber had called me. It was in the morning. She had called me. And I believe with all my heart that Amber knew something was up, but she also knew I did not know what was up. So she called me and she was like, I just don't understand. Like, if he has the paperwork, like, you can submit the paperwork. But the issue was the Chase paperwork that I had was from a year prior. So my understanding was that it pretty much was no good at this point. So she said, all he has to do is just email it to me or take a picture of. She's like, I just need to know that he's able to back up his offer. And I said, I totally get it.
This is about another house. I
said, I think it's okay if we rent. We'll just find a house in Cobb County and just
rent. I can't do it.
Part 25.
I'm
Who the
sorry, y'all. I
fuck
can't
did
do
marry?
another house.
So we weren't looking at houses anymore. We were not working with a realtor anymore.
You don't need to
The end
be.
of April, I had decided that I wanted to look for another job. I did.
Okay.
The reason I wanted to look for another job is petty. Yeah, it is. I wanted to look for another job because I was pissed off at the fact that um, I had basically was dependent on him to help with the car note. So I
Oh,
wanted to
so
look
she
for another
did get the
job where I could
car.
afford life all by myself, including that car note, basically where I would make more money. I told him
Mm-hmm.
that I was going to start looking for another job.
Okay.
He laughed.
Mm-hmm.
And his exact words were, "You're not going to leave Georgia State Patrol." He was like, "I swear you love them niggas more than you love me."
Mm-hmm. She loved that
He
N-word.
laughed. So that fueled me even more. So I was hitting the pavement hard trying to find another job. I was
Mm-hmm.
applying to all kinds of places.
Okay.
Got a phone call from my current job. So this is how I ended up in my current job. Got a phone call. They had sent me an email with a background packet. The background packet was long and extensive, but in the background packet, it asked for my spouse's full name, my
Mm-hmm.
spouse's date of birth,
Mm-hmm.
and my spouse's social security number.
Okay.
So I showed it to Legion and I was like, I need your social because, I'm applying for this job. It's a great job. It's way more money.
Mm-hmm.
And, we're talking about moving anyway to
Okay.
Cobb County. So this, this is a God thing.
Okay.
He did not want to give me his social. I showed him the paperwork where I was like, look, because we are married, I can't lie on here. So help me. um
Wait a minute, what?
so he writes down his social security number on the background packet. And I eventually turned it in. I had scanned it, saved it in my email, and sent it in. And I looked at it one day, just going through it, just making sure I didn't really miss anything. All T's were crossed, all I's were dotted.
Okay.
And I looked at his social, and something about the social seemed different than the social security number that I remember seeing when we did our marriage license.
Bitch, I know you. Bitch, I know you lying. How's the social security number? She don't have his social security number, date of birth, a copy from vital statistics of his birth certificate, bitch. I know you lying. Now we missed the video because I couldn't find video 15 when they got married. So she's saying she got to do a background investigation. She asked this motherfucker for his social security number and it looked different. How, Sway? What the fuck kind of relationship has she allowed her ladies? So she never background investigated him. And she worked for the Popo? She worked for the Popo? Bitch, if you can't get a background check working for the Popo, I know you been lying.
And so for those who You remember in the previous part, I said I had ran his social security number from the marriage license.
Oh,
Nothing came back. So I thought
okay.
that I had written it down wrong. Basically, what it is that the first three numbers were different on the background packet than what was on the marriage license. If you don't know this, here's a little trivia. Your social security number, the first three numbers, pretty much are dictated by the state you were born
Yeah,
in and the state
yeah.
that issued your birth certificate. So he was born in
But it's
Pennsylvania.
multiple ones though.
So his social, the
And
first
by
three
year.
letters, excuse me,
State
the
and
first three
year and all
numbers
of
of his
that.
social security number
But go ahead.
should be attributed to Pennsylvania.
Okay.
Pennsylvania, shit, they probably got like 5, 6 different numbers,
That's it.
3-digit numbers that your
You're
social
talking about the
security number can
prefix.
start with. So the social that was on the marriage license, for example, was probably 1, 2, 3. What was on the background was 4, 5, 6. Both of those social security 3-digit prefixes are issued through the state of Pennsylvania. Again, this is an example so I can make it clear. So when I saw his social on my background, I immediately knew that was a different social than what I saw on the marriage license. And when I compared, because I had found a copy of the marriage license that we turned in because I had filled it out on the computer. So sure enough, the first three numbers were different. The rest of the numbers were the same. So
I'm confused at it. Why did she ask him for his social security number if she had the marriage license? Did she not trust the marriage license and felt like the marriage license was invalid? If she had that social security number, just write that motherfucker down. Like, am I missing something in here? So she goes back and she asks him for a social security number that she already got and got access to. So she played Jeopardy with him to get information. Because was she really looking for a job? Bitch, I'm confused.
one of two things. Either when I ran his background, I did in fact put in the wrong number, or the number on the marriage certificate or the background packet is wrong. So I decided that I was going to roll the dice and take the social from the background packet. Again, this is the background packet that I had to fill out to get my current job. I was trying to get a new job. Okay, so I took that social and I ran a background check on it. What came back on this particular background was all the addresses that the social security number, I guess, had been attached to.
So wait a minute. Wait
all of
a
the
fucking
addresses,
minute. Wait a
the
minute.
state-
So the second number was the real number. So was she married? So the second number was really the real fucking number? Do she know his real fucking date of birth, bitch? I'm lost. Bitch, I'm so lost. I am lost.
States were Georgia, Rhode Island, Pennsylvania. What I did not see was California. So I thought that was weird. I thought, okay, maybe this is not a complete background because
That's what I'm
clearly
saying,
he went
Tabitha.
to San Diego State. It's on his resume. It's on quite a few things. Social media. He didn't have a LinkedIn, but it was on his social media. So clearly he had been to California. So maybe I just need to do a different background check. Also to note, during this time, I think I told you guys he had hit his leg at work. So what was happening was it was getting more and more difficult for him to walk, like put pressure on that leg, on that knee.
He hit his leg at work or in somebody's bed swinging off the damn post.
6:15 in the morning. He was still coming back between 3:30
He's a
and 4
vice
o'clock.
president.
But I clearly could.
Or is he working? He's a vice president driving a BMW, sitting behind a desk at an office place somewhere in fucking Georgia. So how did he hurt his leg unless he's stuck in ketchup and mustard and I can't. Am I the only one out of everybody in this chat? Am I the only one that's saying she liked this? She had to have liked this. He done hurt his leg at work. The fuck?
See where he was in pain. He would elevate the knee, ice the knee. It was getting worse. And I was constantly like, go to the doctor. Let me take you to urgent care.
Yeah.
So that they can look at this knee.
Yeah, Khadijah, what's his real job? Where's Khadijah?
Limping and having a hard time.
Tell me what the real job is.
Putting weight on that knee. And every single time he was like, oh, it's fine. I have a doctor's appointment on Wednesday. The doctor just told me to ice it and to elevate it. This is an old football injury. It happens all the time. It used to happen a lot when I was out in California. So I'm mentioning this knee issue for a reason. But back to the background. So once again, when I ran the background the second time with his second social,
they say don't spill it, Kalina.
Of Georgia, Pennsylvania, and
they say don't spill it.
And that's all that I saw in terms of addresses. I didn't see anything for California. So by this point, we're moving into May of 2021.
Okay.
Things are starting to reopen. One of the things that reopened was San Diego State. So I called San Diego State.
For what?
I called the registrar's office. Someone did answer, and there was instructions on how to request a transcript.
Why are you doing all
I was
of that?
able to try to request it online. You needed the student's name, and I believe you also need their social. And when I typed it in, it said no results found.
Bitch, what
I believe that I sent an email asking, this person is saying that they were a student there. Can you verify it? The response I got was there were no records found with that social security number. So I'm like, okay. I asked him about it. And in part 26, I'll tell you exactly what his response was. Okay, part 15.
Oh, so this is 15 now? Where's 26? Ladies, let me tell y'all something. Ladies and gentlemen. Hindsight does not need to be 20/20. She pedaling backwards. How in the fuck are you doing all of this now and you didn't marry them and moved them into your life 2 weeks after you married him? You don't have to find this out. A miscarriage, a disappointing house search, can't find out you in marriage counseling. You don't have to find out this way. All this stuff she's doing now is what she should have been doing instead of thinking that she was going to get over on him. I don't mean to, I'm telling you, I know this girl life is fucked up, but her intentions of being with him was wrong. She wanted someone to come and rescue her, not someone to partner with her. She bragged in the motherfucking beginning, excuse me for cussing like that, about how she didn't have to pay her own rent and all of that. And yes, every woman wants to be taken care of. Well, not every woman. It should be the norm, but it's not. She sat back and weed her ass off in part one. We. And now when it got something to do with her ass, it's him. It's I. What happened to we? We were speaking French at first. Now you calling the school. Now you check it when you move this month in. She met him March 7th of 2020. By month in April, May, she was pregnant. Now you doing stuff out of spite. Where you should have empowered yourself from the beginning. You don't let 2020 be the way that you find out stuff. You find it out from the begin. From the begin. All this heartbreak, all this disappointment could have been avoided out of her life. Had she said, you know what, I've been taking care of myself. I'll continue to take care of myself. I want this kind of life, but this is not what I need. She been sitting her ass in that 3-bedroom apartment. She took a month that lived in a studio, moved him in, and he ain't kept one promise, but yet she goes down. Somebody said she went down to the justice of the peace and married this piece of. And I guess I'm probably not supposed to say anything negative about her. But we're going to call a thing a thing. This is a cautionary tale of your eyes being bigger than your self-esteem. Your eyes being bigger than your ability to do you first. It ain't nothing wrong with having a man to pay your bills, but your self-esteem got to be set up to the point that if he do it and if he don't, bitch, I'm gonna be all right. I want love in my life above a month and paying, and I want you to be honest, have integrity above you paying my monthly mortgage, because that ain't but $1,000 for her. If your self-esteem ain't set up, leave these motherfuckers alone. Because you can recover from missing a month of rent, but you can't recover quickly from this. Now the bitch still here in marriage counseling. They done told her, you're fucked up. And to go out there and blast him is not going to get you the healing that you want. We enjoying it. You know, it's entertaining. But it ain't going to get you that desired outcome that you think that you're going to feel better now that you done plastered his ass all up on social media. You're not getting no satisfaction out of this. Being embarrassed. So what? So what? Some guy may have gotten over on you a little bit. Maybe a lot. But you don't stay in a fucked up relationship to cover your ass so you're not embarrassed. Check your self-esteem. Check your self-worth and your value. She's more valuable than what she's been through. but she don't know it. And now she calling the damn college to find what out. She already know he's a cheater. She already know he's a liar. She already know that it's not a joint marriage because he won't show her his fucking finances. But yet he wants her to set up a joint account. You can't make this up. Oh, wait a minute. Let me share.
Did I marry? So I asked Legion, what's the deal about San Diego State?
You're a
He was
Legion
like, what are you
too.
talking about?
You got a whole
And I
bunch
said,
of too.
why is there no records of you there? Just came right out and said it. Without missing a beat, this man said, well, I was a private citizen. What the fuck does that mean? And what he said is that when he started at San Diego State, his father paid money so that, okay, it's important I say this with a straight face. His father paid money so that his name and social would not be publicized and he would be considered a private student, a private citizen. He said that he had a card where all he had to do was show the card. He does not have to give his name. He does not have to give any information because he had that card. He said so San Diego State would not have any record of him, that he was in fact a student there.
Bitch, let me apply. Let me get my damn application.
That you played football. He's like, I did play
Get my
football.
application for a private.
So you're saying that the school did not publish your name anywhere and they were in violation of NCAA rules? And he was like, why are you asking all these questions? And I said, I'm just curious. You're saying that you were a private citizen, but yet how were you in compliance with NCAA if you were a private citizen and they did not publish your name on any roster?
Well, I am a private citizen.
So that was his excuse. He was like, all I can tell you is that I was a private citizen. My dad paid for it. Okay. So now I know that San Diego State has no record of him. Now I know that his social security number, at least the one that's on my background packet,
what you do with
only shows that he only shows that he lived in Georgia, Rhode Island, and Pennsylvania.
So what did you do with this information you got?
So at this point, the pain in his knee is getting worse.
And you took care of him?
It's getting to the point where when he would come home from work, he would take a shower and immediately get in bed, elevate his knee. He was not even eating the way that he used to eat. It was getting to the point where at times, if you remember when I told you all about the miscarriage, they gave me pain meds because I had taken that pill. But the pain meds I was allergic to, so I couldn't take them, but I still had them. So the pain in his knee was getting to the point where he would take one of those pain meds just to get through the night. He was constantly in agony, constantly kind of tossing and turning, so much so that in May he moved into the guest bedroom because I couldn't deal with the tossing and turning thing. And he just said he was more comfortable there.
He telling all these lies and she's still sleeping with him? It took his fucking knee for her not to sleep with him and be, oh my.
So what at first was I hit my knee at work turned into, no, it was an old football injury. This has happened before. Turned into, it's painful for me to walk on it. Turned into, it's actually hard for me to work on it. But he was still going to work at 6:15 every morning and coming home between 3:30 and 4. So it is, again, I'm just giving you guys the chronological order of how all this happened. So at this point, We're not looking for a house. I still have not seen the 2 savings account. I'm pretty sure there's no money in those savings accounts. But again, he was going to put in an all cash offer with Amber, the realtor.
Yeah.
So I really didn't know what to believe, but I believed what I saw, which is I saw that background is not showing where he went to California. So at one point in May, it
Mhm.
was close to mid-May,
Okay.
he calls me from work. He
Mhm.
calls me from work, calls me while I'm at work,
Okay.
and tells me that he got a phone call from his stepson.
Mm-hmm.
The
Wait a
phone
minute,
call from his
stepson.
stepson, the stepson was crying and was just absolutely distraught. And I'm at work in my office like, what's going on?
Wait a minute.
And he says to me that the stepson informed him that his stepdaughter passed away, that she died from COVID. The stepson this.
I ain't even ready. Let me get some nourishment. I had to order out, bitch. Wait a minute. Let me just get some kind of sugar, something. I think the blood leaving my monkey head. Hold on. Which I feel lightheaded. I feel lightheaded, bitch. She said that the son called him to tell him that his sister died. Where's the wife, the ex-wife? Y'all, I know y'all lying. I know she about to lie. Oh my God.
This is the story. The stepson found her in her apartment because they had not heard from her for a couple of days. And she was unresponsive. He called the ambulance. They pronounced her dead when she got to the hospital.
Y'all stop.
So he was calling to tell me that she had died. And he was also calling to ask me if I would object to him giving his ex-wife $2,000 towards the funeral. As
You
I've
only
stated
got
before, and I
$1,500 in the
still
bank.
am this way to this day. I don't play about death. So when he told me that she died, I immediately went into the, all right, I'm sorry to hear that. Whatever we can do to help, let's help. Because surely nobody would make that up.
How many times has she said that?
So
Oh,
he was like, are you okay with that? He was like, we're married, and the agreement was that anything over $500 would be a discussion. So 2,000 definitely. And I said, yeah. I said, that's totally fine.
That's the first we heard of that.
He was upset because, again, he was close with the kids. And my heart went out to his ex-wife. It did, because
why you ain't call her?
I can't even imagine. I cannot. Part 27. Who the fuck did I marry? So here's where we are at, and here's what we can establish.
I don't like this look on her. This look.
I ran, and then part 27. Who the fuck did I marry? So here's where we are at, and here's what we can establish. Number one, I ran an initial background check on the Social Security number that was on our marriage license. Nothing came back. I subsequently applied for another job. In that job, I had to fill out a background packet. The background packet asked for my spouse's name, date of birth, and his Social Security number.
Okay, we got all that.
Social Security number on the background packet for the new job did not match the Social Security number that he gave me for our marriage license.
Okay.
If you are confused, I believe it's in
No,
part
you
25 or part 26 that I explained.
Don't be worried about whether or not we confused.
So we can establish that I then ran a background check on the new Social Security number that was on my background packet. it came back with address, or excuse me, states that the social security number apparently had lived in. Those states were Georgia, Pennsylvania, Rhode Island.
We know that.
Okay.
God damn.
I
Get
decided,
back to the
this is
funeral.
now around May 20th, I decided to do another background check. And I paid to do another background check. This time, I did it with a different company. And not only did it give me the addresses, not only did it give me the states, it gave me addresses, and it also gave me names of people
9 months later.
who were like associated with Legion and that address. One of those names was his ex-wife. I've always known, he's always told me the name of the ex-wife, but now I see it when I ran his background. I did a search for her on social media. She was not there. So the address that it showed that she was associated with him, because remember, his story is, we got married in San Diego, we lived in San Diego, we divorced in San Diego. Men lie, women lie. The U.S. federal government with your social security number does not. So he's saying he was always in California. His social security number never showed that he was in California, according to the background check. It did show that he had lived in Georgia at an address associated with the ex-wife. So tried to find the ex-wife, could not find her on social media. So I looked in the metro counties to protect her identity. This, I am going to not divulge a lot on this part. I looked in the metro counties in the open record courts. So typically, you can look in like Superior Court or Magistrate Court or Probate Court. So I looked in open records for the different counties, metro Atlanta counties. Let me be clear, metro Atlanta counties. And I looked under her name, and I found where they had filed for divorce in a metro Atlanta county. So when he said that he filed for divorce in San Diego and that he was married in San Diego, I was able to find, no, according to the state of Georgia, you were married here.
Maybe he don't know geography.
So I looked under her name, found a record for divorce, and it did show his name. So now I clearly see on my computer that there is a metro Atlanta County Court that has a divorce record in the state of Georgia between him and his ex-wife. So I did what any rational person would do, because this is still kind of COVID time. Well, not really. It had nothing to do with COVID. Let me take that back. Because of the parameters of the court, you can only do the open records request in person. I did what anybody would do. I told my boss I had to go. I grabbed my purse, grabbed my keys, and I drove to the court to do the open records request. You don't get no bonus
points for doing that now.
The open records request was for the divorce documents.
Mm-hmm.
Go back in the story, in the series, and remember, I did a background on the ex-wife. I told you all exactly what was told to me. He met her in California. He married her in California. He divorced her in California because she cheated on him. He filed for divorce. She tried to get spousal support. It was going to be a little ugly.
You didn't say you did a background. You the whole ass lie.
That was the story that was told.
That's a lie. That's a lie. You said he told you that story. You did not say you did no damn background check. Fuck out of here. So is this I, me, or we? God damn it. We ain't gonna sit up. Remember I told y'all that I did a background check? No, the fuck you didn't. You ain't know nothing about this. You've been going off of what they told you from day one.
Told to me.
Oh, so, now you say, yeah, clear that up.
Went to the court, filled out the paperwork, got the open records request for the divorce decree, for the divorce records. First thing I see, he didn't file, she did. Second thing I see,
What difference do it
they
make?
didn't make it more than 6 months. I see the date of marriage. I see the date of dissolution. 6 months. Third thing I see, he was served in Metro Atlanta, which means that at the time of the divorce, he was living in Metro Atlanta. California was never mentioned. Fourth thing I see, he filed what is called a pauper affidavit. If you don't know what that is, I'm going to do my best to explain it real quick.
Hurry up,
Basically,
real
he filed
quick.
an affidavit with the court saying that he is so poor, he could not afford the fees to pay for a divorce. He couldn't afford a filing fee. He couldn't afford a service fee. That is what a pauper affidavit is for. All of this is in the divorce documents.
Bitch, is he
She had
downtown at the
filed.
warehouse
She
squeezing
said
the
it was
ketchup into the
irreconcilable
package that we get when
differences.
we
She
go to
was
the
not
carry out?
requesting any money whatsoever.
The fuck am I
And
looking
both
at?
of them had signed a pauper
Yes.
affidavit. He was served in Georgia
Okay.
at his previous employment.
Okay.
According to the divorce documents, he was served at like a grocery store. That is what was listed as his employer. And it had a date of when he was served. So I see all of this in one day. I also see where on the divorce documents, she listed her name, her address, and her phone number. So I did what any rational person would do. I wrote down the phone number. There was a 50-50 chance that the number was already disconnected. She could be like me. I'm one of those people, honey, you can sneeze at a 27-degree angle. I will change my number so quick, you ain't even know what hit you. You can talk to me at 5 o'clock and at 5:05, my number has been changed. So she could have been like me and the number is not even active. Or she could be like some people I know who have kept their number since kindergarten. Either way, I wrote the number down. I
Unbelievable.
left the court
Mm-hmm.
and I immediately went back to work.
Okay.
And the same friend
Mm-hmm.
who helped me when I had my miscarriage, I told her, I was like, I got this phone number. This is the ex-wife. She was like, girl, you better call. You better call and find out from her. Because I think she said to me, can't nobody
Did
tell
she
you
call or no?
what is going on quite like that.
Bitch, but he is not bagging groceries up at the grocery store.
Part 28 is the phone call that I had with the ex-wife. Part 28 of Who the Fuck Did I Marry? So I had the phone number, went back to work. My really good friend was like, you better call her. Quote, if you were calling me, then I know it's bad. I chuckled and I said to her, I'm not trying to bother you.
Yes, you are.
I'm not trying to disrupt your life. I said, I am literally coming to you on some woman-to-woman shit. I said, because you are probably the only person who can help. She listened. She was gracious.
Okay.
And she said, she said, what is it that you need to know? Or what is it that you want to know?
Oh.
And I said, I understand that you and my husband talk and communicate. And she immediately said, what? No, we don't. And I said, okay. She said, one thing you need to know about Legion. She said, whatever he tells you, it is a lie.
Damn.
And she said, when he Again, let's go back to part 1. I
No,
told you guys that when he
no,
introduced
go to
himself
part
or when we
1.
met, we actually had matched on 2 different sites.
Okay.
And he was under 2 different names. One was was like the actual birth name. The other one was a nickname variation of that name. That's the name I know him by. So, for example, if his name was Matthew,
oh my gosh,
he had a profile under Matthew,
she
and then he had a
over-explains.
or she was cracking a joke, but she was like, anything he tells you, you need to know is a lie. So I just asked her, I said, what was your experience? I said, because I can tell you the story he told me. And she stopped me right there. She said, whatever he told you was a lie.
Yeah, because
She
she
said, let
don't
me
want to get
guess.
into all of that bullshit.
He told you I cheated on him. Let me guess. He told you that I wanted money from him. And I said, yeah. And she said, yeah, that's a complete lie. So we had a conversation where she told me how they met. They didn't meet online or anything. I said, well, were you guys ever in California? She said, no. She's like, she was like, that man ain't never been past the East Coast.
God damn.
So I said, okay.
Damn.
So you guys have always been in Georgia? And she said, yeah. She's like, we got married in Georgia and we got divorced in Georgia. And that's when she asked me, how did you even get my number? She said, because I want nothing to do with him.
Oh
so
my
how
God.
did you get my number? I said, I'm gonna tell you the truth. It ain't gonna make me look good. I told her, this is what happened. And this is what led to me doing research. And this is how I got your number.
Oh my
and
God.
She laughed. She was like, wow. She was like, normally I would be freaked out. She said, but under the circumstances, she was like, wow, okay. She said, yeah, if you're calling me, then it must have gotten pretty bad. She said, so what did he promise you?
Oh,
And we talked for about 35 minutes. She asked me in that phone call, she said, look, I want nothing to do with him. I have not spoken to him since our divorce.
Don't get that my phone number,
she
my
said, so
address.
I would just appreciate if you keep me out of whatever's going on with y'all. And I told her, I said, I give you my word. I will never tell him I spoke to you. I said, I give you my word. I said, this conversation is for me. It is not for me to use in any sort of legal litigation, nothing. This is for me.
Oh my.
And I said, I don't plan to call you again. I don't plan to be a disruption in your life. I just needed to know, how bad is it?
How bad was it?
She paused.
You had to ask her that.
She said, it's bad. She said, I don't know what all y'all got going on. She said, but if it's anything like what it was for me, it's bad. So we talked a little bit more. She was very encouraging. She was like, girl, do not blame yourself. She said, I went through that and I had blamed myself. She was like, this is not on us. This is on him.
No.
She was like, he is a master liar.
The signs
a master manipulator. She said, I ignored the red flags. So she was like, do not feel as though this is on you. We talked about there's an ex-girlfriend that shares the same name as his aunt. She and I talked about her. She said the reason why they broke up because the ex-girlfriend.
Didn't the ex-wife tell her to leave her the fuck out of this? This right here, she shouldn't even have had this conversation. If the ex-wife was candid with her, encouraging her, warning her, she should have left her out of this. Why bring the ex-wife in after you see you? You know what? Calm down, Auntie.
Friend,
you need to get yourself off the screen so you can go.
The ex-girlfriend had reached out to her about 6 months before he met me.
Why are you telling that?
And so the ex-girlfriend lives in lived in Douglasville. On Legion's driver's license,
Oh, she froze? Did her ass freeze? Hold on, y'all. Let me see if I can get a connection back. It look like I lost my damn connection to this bull. Hold on, let me refresh. Let's see if I can refresh, y'all. Hold on. Hold on. Why it's not letting me go to the girl? Wait a minute. Hold on. It froze. Let me make sure I get myself back. Hold on, y'all. See, what she don't understand is she just dry snitched. She dry snitched. That ain't cool. Let's go.
the ex-girlfriend lives in lived in Douglasville. On Legion's driver's license, he had a Georgia driver's license with the Douglasville address. What he told me was that it was the address that his sister, because remember I told y'all his sister Shantae lives in Douglasville. She's a nurse, married with 2 kids. So he told me that the address on his license, it was his driver's license, was to Shantae's house. The ex-wife is telling me, no, that's the address for the girlfriend, the ex-girlfriend. He had moved in with her and he created this whole with her. She found out that he was lying and she kicked him out. And so I guess after she kicked him out, she then reached out to the ex-wife, kind of the way I did for confirmation. And so the ex-wife was just telling me, whatever that man has told you, it is a lie. She said, I got out before it got too bad. She said, because once I knew he was lying, I was out. She was like, because he's never going to change. And so, again, conversation went on. And so finally, we were getting ready to get off the phone. And before we got off the phone, I said to her, I said, if everything is a lie, I said, I have one question for you. She said, sure. I said, how is your daughter?
Not the one that died. Not the dead daughter.
I said, how is your daughter? Next part coming up.
Bitch.
Part 28.
What?
Part 29. Or was exposed to it. I downplayed it bad. I didn't have the heart to tell her. She said, what did he say about my daughter? And I will be honest with y'all, I didn't have the heart to tell her. So what I said instead was, oh, no, it was, with everything with COVID, I think he mentioned that she might have had COVID or was exposed to it. I downplayed it bad. I wasn't going to tell that woman that he said her daughter passed away. So I said, obviously I'm glad to hear that kids are fine. She said, look,
Bitch.
whether you stay with him or not, it's your choice.
He going to
She said, he
hell.
ain't gonna change. He ain't gonna change at all.
He going to hell.
She said, this is what he does. She said, you're not the
Oh
first.
God.
You're not going to be the last. She said he did it to me. She was very, very encouraging because she was just like, you do not blame
Girl,
yourself.
y'all, the daughter
She
ain't
said,
died, but we
we
knew it
both ignored red
though.
flags. But it is not your fault. She said, this is on him. And so we, once
You
again, I
right.
thanked
You
her
right.
for her
Where is
time. I got
that?
off the phone.
But
I
she
took
just
the
did
long way
that
home
and
that night.
didn't tell her ex-wife, but now she's
I could
vowed.
not be
Wouldn't
around
she
him.
know the truth?
I could not be
You
around
kept
him.
from her.
I
Yeah,
had to
she should have
figure
told her. She was
something
out.
out. I had to figure some things out.
Don't
So
tell her none of your fucking
I
business because she gonna spray
I
your.
took the long way home. What does that mean? It means that I probably could have taken
Who gives
75
a
to
fuck?
285, but a couple of days later, I decided to look up his mother's obituary. Look up the mother's obituary. And down at the bottom where it talks about, she's preceded in death by, and it lists all the people, the family members that died before. And then it says, leaving behind to cherish her memory. It lists the husband, his dad, her husband, excuse me. Let me start over. It lists her husband, which is Legion's dad. It lists Legion's brother that lives in Philly.
Wait a
and his
minute.
wife, because again, this is 2000.
Wait a minute. Knuckle sandwich. You saying that the sun done came out? Or are you saying that the sun may come out? Has the sun come out? The ex-wife made a video? Y'all are fucking. Where? Is that in my DMs? Let me check my Instagram DMs. Did y'all DM? The ex-wife that she's about to introduce you to. They went live this morning. Bitch, you lying. Tamika. She's going live. Let me let y'all play this. Let me see what she's saying. Because, honey, we'll switch up on y'all asses.
She passed away in 2015. So it lists Legion, the brother in Philly, and his wife and daughter, her granddaughter. It lists Legion and his wife, I think it was like Latoya or La something. La something. It did not list the ex-wife I just spoke to. And it clearly said Legion, his wife, Latoya, Then it listed the brother in Nashville, his wife, Jane, or whatever. So I'm thinking to myself, there's two things I was thinking immediately. Number one, who is Latoya? Never heard that name before. Never heard that name before. So I was thinking, who is Latoya? And then number two, where are the two sisters? Shantae and Kim. Shantae lives in Douglasville, married with 2 kids. Kim lives in Augusta, and I believe he told me she worked at like Procter and Gamble. So why aren't they listed on here? Because apparently, go back to the video. I posted it on there. I gave y'all background on the family. He apparently was one of 5 through both parents. Brother in Philly, older brother, younger brother in Nashville, an older sister in Douglasville, and a baby sister in Augusta. So why is it on his mother's obituary there's only three children named? Where are the 2 sisters? So I'm even more like, what in the hell is going on? And then I started thinking to myself, why wouldn't they list Shantae? Like, they talk all the time, so I know that they're close because he talks to Shantae all the time. So I really was confused. Again, keep in mind, I'm trying to give y'all insight into how I was thinking May of 2021, because I still didn't find out a lot of stuff at that time. I found out enough to figure out, okay, it's not a question of if he's lying. That was over. It's not a question of if he's lying. The question now is becoming, what else is he lying about? So we had the phone call. Now I see an obituary that apparently there's another wife. I know on our marriage certificate, it only states he had one previous marriage.
Bitch, she ain't married to him.
I had 0, he had 1.
She married to him.
This is how I'm thinking in my head.
There's no fucking way.
Okay, what am I missing here?
She's got me sitting up here eating on the screen.
I know we've established that he's lying, but who the fuck is Latoya? Like, I'm really trying to understand who is Latoya.
Put this together.
And again, he's hobbling around the house, limping, and I'm in our bedroom. Well, in the bedroom, I could not get on Google fast enough to try to figure some stuff out. So, see the mom's obituary, study it. And at this point, I'm now trying to figure out, okay, what's the game plan? What is the game plan? And that's where we are about to get into the next part. Okay, part 30 of Who the Fuck Did I Marry? So I'm going to use this as a clarification video. So we're going to use part 30 as a stop.
Okay.
Let's clarify some things. I've done that before on a previous and I saw the comments on this about how a VP would never date someone that looked like me. And to the person that wrote it,
we don't give a fuck about that. We won't care.
Part 31.
We ain't got it to do. We got fucking 10 more videos to get through.
I found his mother's obituary online. It then told me it listed his brother in Philly and his wife. It listed Legion, and then it said his wife. I took the name from the obituary and I did a Metro Atlanta court search with that name. I found a divorce record. I found a divorce record with Legion and the same woman's name that was in the obituary. In that divorce record, it looks like he's the one that filed for divorce. This would have been around 2016. This was after the mother's death. He filed for divorce. She was the respondent. I think that's the correct terminology. Both had a temporary protection order against each other. He had one against
What?
her, she had one against him. The divorce ended up getting granted, finalized. Then it looks like he went on his way. In the course of the search for her name, I discovered that at one point in time, the two of them had lived in Rhode Island. So that's the connection with Rhode Island, because for the longest time I could not figure out who lived in Rhode Island.
Okay.
That's where that came from. The two
What
of them,
idea?
he and this woman, lived in Rhode Island
Auntie.
several years prior, or a few
The
years prior.
fuck? Oh my God.
I could not find the obituary for his dad. I searched and I searched. I could not find the obituary for his father. For whatever reason, I knew his grandmother's name. I just randomly decided to do a Google search of the grandmother's name. Initially, nothing came up because I was looking for the grandmother's name in Philly. Nothing came up. I looked for the grandmother's name down here in Georgia. Found a record, but it wasn't quite clear. What was clear was that she had died several years prior. So what I found was a different website where it was like a legacy.com type thing. So
Yeah.
I believe legacy.com holds
Funeral
old
notice.
obituaries.
Right.
Did a search for her name, found a match. That is when I discovered that she actually had passed away in July of 2008. Read the caption of the obituary and verified that in fact it was his grandmother.
Go sit down, Maisie. Sit down, baby. Sit down for me.
Because at the bottom of it, again, obituaries tell you a lot. It names who she leaves to cherish her memory. So it lists all the different family members. It lists the brother in Philly.
But why do I want to
It
know
lists
this?
Legion.
I don't. I swear to God, I don't.
Up. He knew that Legion was not really trying to make this marriage work. He had no idea all this was going on. So he asked me, "Are you wanting to stay?" When I look at the addresses, it is tied to at least two women, both of whom I'm showing divorce records on file that you had. I've also verified that your grandmother actually died in 2008 and not in 2020 from COVID.
Damn, bitch!
Going into June. His birthday is June 17th. So all I've been doing is just trying to figure out what is it I'm going to do. I spoke to the pastor and his wife. I believe it was actually the pastor I spoke to because I knew the pastor previously before he did our marriage counseling. And I told him what I found. Mind blown. Mind blown. Had no idea. He knew something was up. He knew that Legion was not really trying to make this marriage work. He had no idea all this was going on. So he asked me, "Are you wanting to stay or do you want to end the marriage?" I said, "Oh, absolutely, I'm ending it." "Oh, hell yeah, I'm ending it. I have to. I have to end it. I have no idea who that man is in my guest bedroom. Not to mention, on top of all of this, he had lied about the death of the ex-wife's daughter." Part 32. Part 31. Part 32. That's all I would see him eat. I was going to work and coming home. At this point, he's completely bedridden. When I say completely bedridden,
Oh, okay. All right. So this is significant.
and was going to be starting the new job later on in the month. So when he laughed, where I told him I wanted to get a new job, that laughter fueled me to get a new job. So here's what happened the beginning of June.
I'm sorry, y'all. Please let me take a pause to thank those who have given. Thank you so much, Honduran Chick 76 for the super chat. She says, "So glad I'm here. This story is long AF and needed some animation. Thank you, Auntie." Thank you so much, Honduran Chick for the $4.99 super chat. Thank you, Aza Clark, for the $3 super sticker. Thank you, boo. Thank you. Thank you so much. And I thought I saw another one down there, or did I not? Thank you so much, Michelle, for the $1.99 super chat. Auntie, what in the mess is going on? I'm late. You ain't late, boo. You right on time. Thank y'all so much for the super chats. I really do appreciate the love and the support.
He's at this point, he's completely bedridden. When I say completely bedridden, what I mean is, I'm trying to clarify this so it makes sense. From what I see, he is going to work, but he's calling out a lot more. Okay. So he had already left the condiment
He got no fucking job
and was working for Apple.
He probably on workers' comp.
So he's calling out.
You heard his knee on a pack of ketchup.
So he's hardly eating at this point. Hardly. For example, if I were to say, "Oh, I ordered a 10-piece wings," he's eating 2, and that's it. That's all I would see him eat. I was going to work and coming home. The house was in the exact same.
He a fat fuck, ain't he? Maybe he
place
doing
that it was when I left. Nothing in the kitchen had been moved. Nothing in the refrigerator had been moved, which led me to believe that he had not left the bed from the time I left to go to work until the time I came home. At this point in time, he's drinking Powerades like it's water. I mean, I'm buying cases of Powerades. And that seemed to be the only thing that he was taking in.
All this stuff.
So if he was
all this
a
investigation
3X when I
still
met
taking
him,
care of him.
he's probably at a 1X, maybe a 2X, depending on the clothes. He's lost a lot of weight because he's not eating. So that's the reason why I say he wasn't faking whatever was going on. I think the knee, the issue with his knee was a symptom. That was not some football injury. That was not
did you go and get yourself checked out?
Something else was going on. I had kept asking him to, let me know when you have a doctor's appointment. I'm gonna go with you. And he just kept saying the doctor he's calling the doctor, and the doctor told him to just keep icing the knee. But I knew better. What was happening was
he ain't working
because of all the stuff I was finding out.
He ain't had no fucking job no more.
Beginning of June, he is in the bed, sleep, and I get his phone. I ain't gonna lie. I got his phone.
Go ahead.
He had a work phone and he had a personal phone.
All right, let me pay attention.
It was the work phone that he had from the condiment company that apparently was never turned in. Follow me. It'll all come out.
Hurry up.
So he still had the work phone. It was deactivated. But he did not wipe the phone, if y'all know what I mean. Take all the data off. He did not do that. So I see this would have been text messages between him and a woman named Peaches.
Hey, Peaches.
I go back to the beginning of the text messages. This is on the work phone. This is the beginning of June of 2021. I go back to the text messages the beginning of the text messages between him and Peaches. Yes, that was her name, Peaches. I'm reading the thread because he's knocked out sleep. So I'm in the bathroom with the door locked. reading the thread.
Mm-hmm.
And what I can tell is that he met Peaches on POF. If you don't know what POF is, it
Plenty
is
of
Plenty of
Fish.
Fish, a dating website.
Mm-hmm.
He met Peaches. This would have, I saw the messages in June, so he met Peaches around February.
I told.
Met Peaches from POF.
Okay.
And apparently Peaches was, there's no nice way to say it. Apparently Peaches was a prostitute. So the reason why I say that is
Peaches.
because in the text messages,
Apple,
she's
strawberry,
listing the
plum,
prices.
honey, all that.
So
Okay. All right.
he asked for a hand job. This is in the text messages. She told him it would be like $40. He
Come
asked
on,
how
Peaches,
much would
up
it
your
be
game.
for oral. She said it would be 60. Because it was 60 and 80. One was the price with the condom, one was the price without one.
Come on, Peaches.
So
You could do better
no
than that.
messages
Come
after
on,
that.
Peaches. Let's do it.
She sent a picture. He sent a picture. No messages after that. So in other words, these messages were not back to back every single day. There's breaks in between the messages. So like a message was in March, the next message is in April, message in April, next message is like 2 weeks later.
Got 105, 105. Can I get 120? Can I get 120?
He's asking her the prices. Next message I see
sold at 120.
would have been from a few weeks
Come on,
prior
Peaches,
to
up
the
your
date of
game,
this. So
boo.
this was the beginning of June. The message is from sometime beginning of May, where he is thanking her and says to her, thank you so much. That was really great. I hope I can see you again. Then there's messages where she said, hey, basically,
I don't care about
she was at a new spot. She must have moved.
I'm sorry, y'all. Can I
So
skip
he said,
through this?
okay,
I
I'm
don't
gonna
want to
come
hear about Peaches.
Part 33. Who the fuck did I marry? June 17th.
I just say interested in Peaches. Peaches out there doing what Peaches do.
You guys have been on this ride. You now know exactly what information I did have.
Okay.
The morning of June 17th, which was his birthday.
She was still with him?
in the bed as usual. Powerade bottles all over the place. Because
then she just tell the ex, why get the information and not do nothing with it?
Watching YouTube on his cell phone.
Was he watching Auntie's advice?
He watched a lot of YouTube, watching these two guys that always were fixing Jeeps on YouTube.
No, tell them to look
if
up
I saw them, I
Auntie's
would know
advice.
exactly who they are, but I can't remember their name. It's a popular show on YouTube.
Okay,
anyway,
Auntie's advice.
So I go in there and I just calmly sit on the edge of the bed, and I was like, "Can we talk?" And he was like, "Yeah, what's up?" I said to him, Legion. Obviously, I called him his name. Legion. I said, I'm going to ask you something. I just want you to be honest with me. So he starts, I can already see in his eyes, he's about to get defensive.
But don't tell me Peaches has something.
This is the tone I had. Calm. I said, you never went to San Diego State, did you?
Why are you going back to that?
He rolls his eyes and he's like, I already said, calm down.
Why are you losing weight over your knee? Why are you not working? Why are you thinking?
I said, you
we
never
want to know about whether or not Peaches
you
has
never lived in California, did you? And he said, of course I lived in California. He's like, I fucking showed you the house I had in California.
I don't want to know about this. I swear to
God. I told you about San Diego State. I was a private citizen. My dad paid for me to be a private citizen.
Y'all?
Said, I think that you should call your brother or your sister now. And I think that you need to pack a bag. And I think you need to get the fuck out my house.
Okay. All right. Okay. So, okay. We got some.
He was like,
hey,
I don't really have time for this. I don't feel well. I said, I don't care. You need to get out of my house. Again, the way I know y'all are going to be like, she's so dramatic. And in real, I am actually a very dramatic person.
Oh, we can tell. Long-winded as a motherfucker too, but it's okay.
This video is exactly how I was talking to him in the beginning.
Well, that's what we do.
That's
what sisters do.
So I said, you need to call your brother,
slow and calm.
or call your sister because she's in Douglasville, and you need to go stay there. You need to get out this house today. basically what happened was at first he refused. He wasn't moving fast enough for me.
I skipped over what?
And so
tell me what I skipped over. What I skip over that I need to go back to? Because all she doing is talking to him on the bed about he wasn't in California. I don't give a damn about that. Y'all tell me why I should be going back. Because basically, this is what I want. She putting oh, he peeing in the Gatorade bottle? Oh, I don't want to know about that. Thank you, though, y'all.
So he called his aunt. And his aunt was on speakerphone.
Okay. Hey, Auntie.
She was on speakerphone. And so she was like, you know, what's going on? And he was like, my wife don't want me no more. She claimed that I'd be lying to her. I ain't never lied to her. When I heard this, what's the analogy I can give y'all?
Hurry up
with it. I heard him say to his aunt, I ain't never lied to her before. Something in me snapped. The best analogy I can give you. Okay. Do y'all remember that movie Carrie? When she was at the prom and everyone was laughing at her. The blood had fallen down on her. Yeah. And there was a moment where her eyes just went wild. Yeah. And you knew something was about to happen. You just didn't know what. But y'all had pushed her too far. When he said to his aunt, I ain't never lied to her, I snapped. The calmness left. The amount of rage that was in me. I could have fought every member of the Kansas City Chiefs and beat every last one of their asses.
What about
I could have fought every member on the Atlanta Falcons and beat every last one of their asses.
Did you be his, though?
I'm not a violent person.
Did you be his?
But I was there.
Okay. So what happened?
That statement, I ain't never lied to her.
911, 411, 311.
I went off.
Okay.
I went off. I went off so bad that first of all, every part of me was shaking. I called my mom. My mom was on speakerphone.
No, not the call.
She's in Arkansas. My mom's a praying woman. I was cussing like a sailor. My mom finally said,
that's not going on.
Put him on the phone. So I gave him the phone.
That's not going on.
And I'm looking around the room. Is the scene that I remember is the Angela Bassett scene in Waiting to Exhale, when her eyes are darting around the room.
No, go right
before she grabs everything to put it in the car to set it on fire.
You know,
I was more so looking at what weapons were in the room: the lamp, the TV, the dresser. I was looking more. I mean, while she was talking to him, my eyes were darting around the room, because if he did not get his ass up and get his shit and get the house, it was going to be bad. If I have never in my life been on TikTok and said thank you, if had it not been for the blood.
Girl, stop. Y'all, blood ain't stop you.
I know this is going to sound dramatic. I know this is going to sound like, girl, you so funny. You don't know nothing about no blood. Had it not been for the Lord on my side.
Girl, stop with
had
the
it not been for the fact that I know I got a praying mother. I know I had a praying aunt. I know I've had a praying grandmother in heaven.
This is some bull right here, and I got to stop her right now. Stop it with the church references. You did not give a fuck about the church references the whole time you've been with them, and now all of a sudden you want to go into I got a praying grandmother. You trying to Shirley Caesar out here? I know it was a blood, and I know it was a blood for me. One day when I was lost, He didn't come down off the cross, so I know it wasn't the blood for me. Bitch, bye. You ain't think about that daggone blood. You fake as hell.
Because I'm telling you, I clearly saw what was getting ready to happen had he not gotten up, got his shit, and got out of my house.
Oh, look at that shit word
So
with the
I'm
blood.
trying to calmly say this because I'm trying to calmly tell this story because the rage had taken over me. The pure, unadulterated rage
And he
that
didn't
I
get dragged
felt
out on the
when
street.
he said to
Okay.
his aunt, I ain't never lied to her, after I had discovered only 2% of the lies at that point. Just 2%. So it was enough for me to be like, you need to get your stuff and go. So my mother gets on the phone and she says to him, you know, Legion, she called him by name.
She
She
really
said, I
thinks
am
she
not
did something
there
just now. She really thinks
to
she
control
did
my
and said
daughter.
something.
She said,
She ain't
in
did
the
and said
name of
nothing.
Jesus,
Ain't
get
not.
yourself and get out that house because I think she might kill you. Get out of the house.
She ain't doing nothing.
She's on my phone.
She ain't
His
doing
aunt
nothing.
is on his phone.
He ain't
His
got nothing to
aunt
worry
said,
about.
nephew, come home. Home for her was Philly. She said, I'll send you money. Come home. Leave that house right now, she said, because I think that that woman is about to kill you.
No, she ain't.
Let's go. Let's just go to part 34. Let's all just take a
No,
deep
she
breath.
not. Because if she was, she would have.
Part 34. I'm married. So the aunt told him, I'll send you money. Come home. I'm yelling in the background, by the way. I'm not standing there calmly. I'm yelling. I said, oh, he got money. Yeah, you got money. You got money in that offshore account, right? You got money in that Chase account. You got money to drive.
Oh, so now it's mad day.
Do what you got to do. I told him, and I'm not going to repeat some of the stuff I said because my mom might see this TikTok, but I did tell him, I was like, if you don't get out of this house,
what you gonna do?
You going actually what I said was you have two options. You either gonna leave this house voluntarily or you're gonna leave this house involuntarily.
Girl, bye.
He tried to get a little nook if you buck. He tried. And that's when because he was still on the bed, still laying in the bed. And he was just like, you ain't gonna do shit. Like, don't talk to me like you done lost your fucking mind. Da, da, da. And I calmly got close to him. I got like this close. And I literally said, I will beat you like the bitch you are.
Girl,
I
I
dare
ain't
you
impressed.
to try me.
Oh my God,
I said,
y'all! How
I
much
will
of this I
literally
got? How
beat
much more of
you
this? Because I'm not
like the
impressed.
male
I'm
bitch
so
you
not
are.
impressed with her.
And so
All this time,
when I
she
said
been
that,
letting
his
this man walk
eyes were
over
like,
her,
I said, I'm
and
not
now
even
all of a
playing.
sudden
Because at
she's
this point,
knocking his feet
I'm
busting.
rocking like
You should
back
have
and
blew
forth.
on her.
Y'all, again, I'm not some hardened type chick. I'm not. I don't want the soft lifestyle. But I have been pushed to the point. Locks change. Landlord was like, that's fine. My landlord was super cool. Shout out to Mr. Patel.
She putting
I
everybody
went to Home
name out.
Depot, bought so by 1:00, by 1:30, he was gone. By 2:30, I
It took all that to just get to that. Come on,
part
let's get through this
35.
now.
Who the
Let's
fuck
get
did I
through it.
marry? So I packed up all his stuff. Okay. The reason why I packed up all his stuff is because I had a 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath townhome. One room was the guest room. Obviously, there was a master bedroom, and then we had a TV room that he had made like his Philadelphia Eagles man cave.
Exactly, Kim.
I was going to put everything
Not impressed with her
that belonged to him, pack it up, and put it in the TV room because the plan should have been that he's going to come back and get all his stuff. Okay, so that's why I did it. And honestly, it just felt good to pack up his stuff and go through it freely, because when he packed in a hurry, he left obviously really important things. He left all his Invicta watches. He left all his WWE championship belts. And if you know anything about WWE championship belts, you know those things are expensive. He left all his Jordans. He left uh Cole Haan shoes. He left all that because he it was such a hurry for him to leave. So all that was still in my house. So around 2:30, I think I wasn't even at a place where I could start crying. I was just too angry, still shaking, packing everything up, One of the things that he left is a photo album with all the pictures of his mom and dad and his siblings growing up. Now, I had the thought of I was going to have a burn party and I was going to put it on Facebook Live. I was going to burn it with my friends and drink and dance and play music. But it's his deceased parents. I do have a heart. So I put that somewhere special, meaning I put it up in the closet. He had told me that he was going to come back and get his stuff. And so I just did not, I didn't throw anything out unless it was like something I knew was trash. Other than that, I put everything up and kept it, in the TV room. So that's June 17th. Also on June 17th, I had already ordered his birthday cake. I had ordered the birthday cake like the end of May because it was like a special birthday cake. So I also had to go get the birthday cake from the bakery in East Point. And I took it to my family's house and we ate it. Yes, I had left the house, went to my family's house, filled them in, my aunt, my little cousin, and my grandfather, because my mom was in Arkansas. So went over to their house, filled them in on what was going on. They could not believe it. Although my grandfather then told me, he said, he ain't look like he was a football player. He was like, I didn't want to say nothing, but he ain't look like he was a football player. Gotta love grandparents. So we ate his birthday cake, went back home. The friend that I had called came, changed all the locks, I changed the security codes. Effectively, he would not have been able to get in that house. So that is what happened on June 17th. So now we can fast forward. He would text me and he would call me that he got to Philly. Apparently he left Georgia and immediately went to Philly. So he immediately went to Philly, and he did text me and said that he made it to Philly and he was staying at his aunt's house. I know that this is a short part. That's okay, because what we're doing now is I went through how we met. I went through how we dated. I went through having an affair with, he said, was a law enforcement officer who used his duty for a divorce settlement agreement. So going into part 36 or 35, I know there's so many parts. Going into the next part is where I can tell you guys what happened with him, because
Okay.
part 36,
Okay.
Who the fuck did I marry? The family tree. Please fasten your seatbelts and put the tray tables in the upright position.
Girl.
Let's go. All right. The cousin, I'm not going to name her. The cousin had reached out to me on Facebook, asked me to please give her a call. So this conversation was on the phone. Yes, I was actually speaking to her. She informs me again about the whole, he's up there. He's telling everyone that he walked in on me cheating on him. It was with a law enforcement officer, and that the law enforcement officer used his duty weapon to threaten him to get him out of the house. The reason why I'm particularly mentioning the fact that he said it was law enforcement is because he was trying to get a family member, like one of his cousins, to call the agency of the law enforcement officer and file a complaint, which in hopes would then start an internal affairs investigation. Yeah. So, female cousin's on the phone with me. She's telling me everything that he is telling them. She's like, look, we know he a liar. We don't fuck with him. He's been a liar since a kid.
Okay.
But he's also family. She said, we didn't know at all who you are. So I thought that that was interesting because I was like, you didn't know who I was, but his brother knew who I was. And so again, that's when I said to her that I was like, I've talked, he's talked to his brother every day. So why wouldn't the brother tell y'all that he had gotten married? And so she said, what brother? And so I told her the brother's name. And she said, he told you that? I said, he was having the phone calls in front of me. So at this point, what the cousin said was, she was like, okay, I'm going to confirm that with him. She was like, he lives up the street. So I'm going to just confirm that with him. She was like, because I'm pretty sure that they have been beefing for a while. I was like, I can only tell you what I saw, what I heard. That's all I can say. So then when she asked me about, well, how many brothers do you think he has? And I said, he has 4 brothers. Again, I listed all of them. This woman was like, he has 2 brothers. She said he has the twin and he has the older brother.
But she
the
knew
one
that.
He was on the phone with every morning.
She pulled the
blah,
mother's
blah, 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 blah.
obituary.
I said, twin? Who's the twin? So this is where she explained to me. She said the parents, mom and dad, had the older brother. The older brother is about 5 or 6 years older than Legion. Legion and the younger brother who lives in Nashville, they are twins. So when he kept saying the younger brother, my younger brother by 2 years, it's his older brother by 20 minutes. They are twins. I have seen a picture of this brother. Yes, they do very much look alike, but I didn't know they were twins. It doesn't even matter. I didn't know they were twins. But definitely they had the same mom and dad. So she was like, no, that he's older than Legion by 20 minutes. They're twins. She said, so the parents had 3 boys. Brother in Philly, the older brother, and the twins. She was like, who the hell are these sisters that you're talking about? So I tell her, I was like, Shantae and Kim.
But you knew that you're a liar.
She said, I don't know who Shantae is. She said, Kim is
You
my
knew
daughter.
from the obituary that you
Kim
pulled
is not
yourself.
his sister. Kim is my daughter. And she said, that's his cousin. She was like, and they haven't spoken in about 20 years.
Don't tell Ressa Tessa
no, that's
none of
not
your
his
business,
sister.
bitch.
He does not have any
Don't let
sisters.
her know none about
And I said,
you.
well, then what about the other 2 brothers? She was like, what other 2 brothers? I said, the brothers from his dad. She was like, you mean to tell me?
Let me just pause for the cause real quick because I'm getting overwhelmed with this bullshit coming from her. I understand that she done took the lid and blew the lid off for all of this. But the moment that she pulled the mother's obituary, she knew. She's digging and fishing because she pulled the mother's obituary herself. And she knew that there was no 2 sisters. She knew that there was no 4 brothers. She knew. So she's taking this and dragging this on and on and on and on and on. You done with him? You put them up out? Now, why do you have to continue to do? I don't understand. We didn't already establish he ain't about Jack. He lied. Okay. So why are we continuing with this? I don't understand. You done talked to the ex-wife. You done found out he was married multiple times. Get your divorce and go move on. Why are you sitting here and tell? Oh my God. So what about the 2 sisters? You knew he ain't fucking sisters. You doing nothing more to me. You mind fucking them. Oh.
This man is going around telling people, I know somebody's going to quote Nicki Minaj, lying on your dead mama, but try not to. She says, you mean to tell me this man is walking around lying on his dad, saying that his dad had kids outside of his mom?
But you knew that.
And I kind of stuttered like, yeah. She was like, he does not. She said, I have no idea who those 2 men are. She said, those are not his brothers. But if y'all remember, I've met those 2.
Y'all, I'm sorry.
And he introduced them as,
what's going on?
You know, man,
40,
this is my brother
41, 42,
John. This is my
what's going
brother
on,
Matt. type thing.
I'm tired of
And
her.
so they
I
both
swear
were
to
like, "Oh, my
God.
sister, it's good to meet you. It's good to meet you." Remember that, because obviously I do eventually talk to those two men again. So she says to me, the family tree is mom and dad,
I don't want
the
to hear
three
this. Oh my
sons.
God. Swear to
She
God.
was like, in life, but she was like, get your divorce and be.
That's all she wanted to say?
Part 41, who the fuck did I marry? So this is the continuation of my conversation with Chris, which will then lead into some other stuff. So Chris has confirmed that he has not spoken to Legion since 2015. So now we know that the phone calls that Legion was having every morning on the phone with Chris
I
when
don't
we
care.
were, getting ready to go to work, the phone calls were fake.
I don't care. I don't care. Now all you doing is just keeping this going on. I want to hear from the other family members. I want to hear from him. Period, point blank, poo. We know he a liar. We don't know how many times and how many ways you want to expose he's a liar. He a fucking liar. You've done your job. The rest of this, I don't give a damn. I don't mean no harm. I know y'all wanted me to see the rest of it, but at this point, I don't care. Let me find him. Because he got his ass out here on TikTok. So let me pull up the TikTok. Let's see what he had to say. Because she done got on my goddamn nerve. I'm going to tell you right now, it ain't but so much you're going to be able to eat my brain. Because I can't take it. Let me see, y'all. Let me pull this. So now we get ready to introduce Lion Ass Region. Our Legion. Let's see what he got to say.
And we went to marriage counseling, didn't work, and we broke up. But my message to her is, please stop lying to these people, and you can tell them the real reason I left you. You cheated. I caught you in the house with Bradley, and we went to marriage counseling, didn't work, and we broke up.
I would have cheated on your ass too. I would have cheated on your bitch ass too. And did it while you was home, mother. The hell? You would have been upstairs. I would have been downstairs. You would have been downstairs. I'd have been upstairs, mother. And you ain't leave nobody. You milk dirty. Oh my goodness. Look at this that she thought was fine because he was 6'4". He ain't got nothing else going on with him but the height. He ain't about shit. He ain't about nothing. Mother, oh my God. Tell him why I really, you, receipts. And other people coming out here saying something. No wonder they was together, because she just is. Let me put his name in here. What's his name? McCoy. Hold on. Jerome McCoy. He ain't really saying nothing else, y'all. We'll be back. Auntie gonna feed her face, and then we're gonna come out here and we're going to discuss and look at what I've got. The videos of the wife of kiss, the ex-wife, and the son. Let's take a hot, quick break. Let's take about 45 minutes. And then we're going to talk about the son. Absolutely, Clarissa. I will be addressing that, and we'll come back out here and we'll talk about the son and his mom. I want to say a special thank you to Honduran Chick 76, Michelle F. I want to thank Maud Nate for the $10 super chat. I also want to say a special shout out to Ray Della, who's been holding it downtown for me. I totally appreciate it. Y'all go and get y'all some libations, okay, and some, something, okay, and we'll be back. I love y'all. Thank y'all so much for being here. If you haven't already done so, go ahead on and hit that subscribe button, because we're going to be following this damn story. Oh, yes, we will. And until we meet again, y'all be safe out there in those streets and in the water.